Well done, guys.
That was more than 10 seconds, BTD.
Now.
Yeah, I mean, the ticking on the top.
I really wish you guys would stop calling me a bunch of assholes.
You're a bunch of assholes?
That's what I heard earlier.
Bundle of
I called
sticks.
them a bunch of assholes.
Oh, I thought you were talking about...
You're a bundle of sticks. You get it. You get what I'm saying. Oh, did you finally get it?
No, her little squeak.
Cut to the intro.
To the BlueMilk podcast, where we talk about anything and everything Star Wars related. I'm Jacob.
I'm BJ.
I'm still drinking.
I'm Faye.
I'm Danny.
And we're back to it. HP versus Star Wars Part 2. And go.
Why is HP
you couldn't say Harry Potter, but you could say Star Wars?
No.
Fucking asshole.
No, that's blasphemy.
It's because Star Wars is more important in his world.
That shit.
I'm trying to be,
You just call me a biased piece of shit? Yes, I'm biased to Star Wars.
I'm trying to be the neutral party, mostly because I'm sitting in the middle of, Star Wars.
For those
I'm like the moderator.
For those who are not aware, this is the BlueMilk podcast, where we talk about anything and everything Star Wars related, and for whatever reason, these two decided they wanted to talk about Harry Potter.
And its similarities.
I was requested
it was our
here today.
idea. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So this is part 2 of our fun time.
It's not bad.
In our last episode, we ended with statistical analysis of the two genres.
Crunching numbers.
Yeah. And there has definitely been some debate on that. So, Faith, please continue with statistics. What were we discussing the last time?
What was I saying?
You were asking a question when we ended.
Oh yeah, that's right. It was why are there so many writers for Star Wars, and how?
No, we've already hashed this.
I think we've
this whole
exhausted
fucking
that.
fanfic thing. I'm not doing it
We
again.
think it's weird.
I'm done.
Well, I understand you think it's weird,
No,
but
my
it's
question
not really
was.
fanfic.
My question was, how does the fact that Star Wars has so many planets and this expansive universe, why does that make it better tthan Harry Potter being a centralized
It leaves
universe?
more options open.
It does, but is that necessarily better?
Sure, why not? Why wouldn't it be?
How is diversity a bad thing?
I'm not saying that diversity is a bad thing.
So,
It isn't.
the thing you have to take into consideration involving, all the other planets and everything is, it allows you to come from different problems from different perspectives. Some alien outside of human thinking. Ultimately, in Harry Potter, everyone is ultimately going to think like a human because...
Alien not
They
necessarily
don't all
being
think
alien.
like humans. They're not all humans. Centaurs don't think like humans. Giants
Yeah, they
don't
do.
think like humans.
Yeah, they
Vila
do.
don't even think
Yeah,
like
they do.
humans, even though
Giants
they're
think
mostly
like
humanoid.
dumb humans.
No.
Yeah,
No.
giants
No.
think like Jacob.
No, giants have
They
their
spell like
own
Jacob.
set. Well, okay.
No.
I'll
They
give you that.
speak like Jacob.
I spell better than a giant.
You don't speak better than a giant.
Yeah. Just watch Critical Role.
I had about 2 minutes. What'd you guys have for the snort?
That was a little one. It
And
doesn't
about
count.
3 minutes.
It's a little one.
They all count, Faye! They all fucking
sleep paralysis.
No. Regardless.
Oh yeah, regardless.
It's a disease that I
Regardless
spread.
is not a disease.
Harry Palpatine is a disease.
Yes,
it does
it is.
sound
That
like
is
a
true.
It does sound like
is.
a
Actually,
It really
Harry
does.
Palpatine.
Like chlamydia.
And death sticks.
Death
No,
sticks sound
they're
like
not
an
disease.
awesome drug.
Is there any drugs in the Harry Potter universe?
That's actually a good question. Are there any
That's
drugs?
a good, I don't know that I've ever thought about
Not
that
to
specifically.
change the subject, but yeah, that is a good question. Do they have any good shit or what?
I think when you take...
They got alcohol,
I think
which is a drug.
potion would be the replacement for that. I don't know that
Yeah,
there's like.
I think the werewolves
drugs.
get, like, high when they take Wolfsbane.
Okay. Yes.
To be fair, the most obvious choice in that regard is alcohol. Alcohol is a
Well,
drug.
I mean,
And there is
okay,
some-
fine.
no.
Plus they
Just in
also-
general.
It's a drug.
Plus, they're also on Earth, so you could have said anything like
Cocaine!
Heroin, crack, fucking crocodile, whatever.
Crocodiles? Do you
No.
snort crocodiles?
yes.
Holy shit.
Have you not heard about crocodile?
No.
It's a zombie one.
It is.
Pause
crocodile.
while this
Crocodile.
is explained.
Crocodile.
No links below.
No.
But the point is that there's a lot of other things out there, and unfortunately, we don't see a lot of other things in the Harry Potterverse. Like there are there are maybe a handful of books that deal with perspectives from mythical creatures,
Okay.
but those mythical creatures aren't creatures that she invented out of nothing. They're things that existed from other mythical, like fantasy, like elves, dwarves, giants. They all existed in other fantasy. Like, she didn't have to think about how they think. She didn't have to create them from the ground up.
I have to ask a
Brilliant.
question of the Harry Potter
Yes. Red caps.
Pinky punks. Blast-ended squirts.
Squirts.
Red
Wow.
caps exist.
Squirts. I'm sure
sorry.
there's a
What is
red
it?
for
The
that.
Crumblehorn Snorkack?
Yep.
Red
When
caps
did you call
exist in mythology.
No.
Okay.
Red
Well, we
caps-
just listed them all
We're
for
just
you.
we're
so-
I
starting to
understand.
list creatures.
I think
for
a
you.
lot of those might.
Flobberworms.
Yeah.
Just because they have a different name doesn't mean they aren't based off of
There's
something
also a
else
pill for that.
mythology.
There's a pill for that. I
Yeah.
appreciate that.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, what was your question?
I don't remember.
Damn.
Bow
it.
truckles.
Bow truckles.
Are there bow truckles in any other mythology? This is just a question because I'm really curious.
Well, what are both
Star Wars.
Like, what are they?
In Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them.
Yeah.
A little stick-like character.
Those are miniature Ents.
No, there
No,
are
it's not an Ent.
there are
It's not an Ent.
there are
Bow truckles
animated.
are guardians of wand trees.
Yeah, those exist in mythical. They're called other things. There's dryads. There's also
Okay.
if you go to Japanese literature, there's spirits that exist that guard trees. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. What else we got?
Harry Potter has minimal repetitiveness compared to Star Wars.
Bullshit.
No,
It's
that's
all Harry Potter.
well, no.
But there's no
Like the story
repeated story.
Yeah, like the original trilogy is
Yeah,
copied
I know.
in like the
Yeah.
prequels. Yeah, like there's that.
Yeah.
I'll give Harry Potter that.
There are different versions of CG throughout the Star Wars.
Yeah, that's
And
accurate.
technically, without Star Wars, wow, it's been everywhere.
Ew.
Harry Potter wouldn't really be good.
Glad it's over that way. Okay.
Wait, what?
What?
Harry Potter as a movie would not be like a thing if Star Wars didn't exist.
How?
Yeah, it
How do you
probably
figure
would.
that?
Well, the books would exist. The movies, not so much, because it's he's referring to the fact that George Lucas's company, Industrial Lights and Magic, did all the CG. And
Oh.
visual
Which
effects.
revolutionized visual
Somebody
ones.
else would have.
Somebody,
You're right.
yeah. It's
There are other companies
But
other
it
than
would've-
Industrial Lights and Magic.
But it,
Harry Potter has a lot of connections that are sewn within the
So
story.
does Han Solo.
I'm sorry, what? A lot of connections.
that are sewn within the story. Like, things from the first book are connected to the rest of it. The only thing that you guys have is, he's his father thing.
No.
Well, no, that's not necessarily true because there's a lot of connections and repeat characters from the original trilogy that go into or the prequels to the original trilogy.
R2D2.
Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Okay,
but then there's
not
over
just people. There are things
Things.
going
The
on
Force,
behind.
Anakin's lightsaber.
The Force is a constant thing.
The Force, yeah, that's not
The relevance of the events that happened in Episode 3 go on, like, echo throughout all of 4, 5, and 6.
Okay.
Palpatine's
Episodes-
plan.
Give me a
Things that happened in
specific.
Episode 1.
Give me a
Echo.
specific connection.
Palpatine's plan to take over the galaxy.
How is that a connection to anything else?
Okay, so it started out in Phantom Menace.
Yeah.
Continues in...
Yeah, it continues consistently.
No. It started out in Episode 4. Continued through 6.
Then went back to 1.
Back to 1.
Yeah, technically, it went back to 1.
Through 3.
Then it goes to 7.
No, 7, no.
He was
Snoke
he was dead
has
in 7.
rumblings. There's the rumblings.
Yeah, well, the rumblings.
But
technically
that's
the
a
first
Snoke came from
consistent-
before 1.
That's a consistent.
But it's not.
thing.
But it's not really consistent because you don't. He doesn't say the plan about it. He lays the base work of it in the Phantom Menace. He doesn't.
I'm having a hard time understanding what exactly
So
you're trying to do.
give them one of your examples so
Yeah,
that they understand
yeah.
what we're
Speak
asking
English,
for.
would you?
So, in Harry Potter, in
Yeah.
6, the Peveril family is mentioned just once, just
Very
slightly.
briefly.
And then the Peveril family becomes incredibly important in 7 and the 8th movie, all of the book 7. So you have like a slight hint to something, and then it becomes extremely important later. There's also, like, the ring, the Horcrux ring. It was handed down from the Gaunt family to the Riddle family, who is Voldemort. It just so happens that it's also the Resurrection Stone as well as a Horcrux. There's so many interconnected items and things and people that you, even though you've already read it, you read it again and you're finding additional things to go along.
So you're saying that Star Wars is not interconnected in any way?
And that's a pretty straightforward story, other than the whole he's his father thing.
I'm trying to understand how
Come
that
on,
doesn't
dude.
make it interconnected.
Come on, dude.
The Death Star plans and Attack of the Clones. You get to see the end of it at the end of Revenge of the Sith, and you see it in Rogue One, then you see it in New Hope. That's interconnectable right there.
Okay, from 2 to Rogue One. Okay.
We're down.
For those of you who missed that, what are we going to call this bit? Are we going to call it English with Jacob?
Yeah, we can call it that.
Jake, we need our own podcast. English with Jacob.
With Jacob.
Interconnectical. Oh,
Jacob.
God.
Try to throw up a spelling. and
Just
I
have
beat
Jacob spell
you.
it for you.
God, no!
That'll be perfect. Just have Jacob. He made it up the word. Have him figure out how to spell it. He invented it.
I've made him do that before, and it took him 2 hours for one word.
Actually, it was 45 minutes.
But no, like there are a lot of connections between all the movies. I mean, not only is there like the fact that like Anakin Skywalker, and then Luke Skywalker, and then you get Luke Skywalker at the end of Episode 3, and then you get to see like how he becomes a character in Episode 4. Same thing with Leia. But there's also cameos involving you see Bail Organa in Episode 2 and 3. Before you even know who his character, like the only way you even know who that character is
if you watch 4, 5, and 6.
is if you'd seen 4, 5, or 6. They don't even like,
four.
yeah, because they don't even mention who he is
Okay.
in those movies. Like it's like Senator Organa or whatever, and then you see him and you're like, I know who that is because I've seen 4, 5, and
That's
6.
a dude.
Yeah, totally. But I mean, there's like, it's not just that. There are a lot of references to stuff. Like, I mean, it's all interconnected. There's just as much interconnectivity between the prequels, the sequels, and the postquels, is what I'm going to call them because of you.
And it's fine.
Sequels!
No, it's
They're
post-quels.
sequels, not post.
Post-quells. They are post-quells. Post-apostrophe quells. There are the quells, there are the pre-quells, and there are the post-quells. That's the way it is.
That's not how English works, but okay.
It is.
In Jacob's world, it does.
Yeah.
Post
And
is
we're
after.
all in Jacob's world.
Post is after.
Get me the fuck out of here.
But there's just as much interconnectivity.
I don't see it much. I feel like it's a nice straightforward story.
That's because you're blind.
Oh, there's also Boba Fett when he was a kid in Attack of the Clones.
But that is connectivity. I mean,
And it
you do
goes
see,
to-
Yeah.
you do see him.
Empire
He
as-
picks up his dad's
helmet, and that
Okay, that's
leads to explain.
That's
That's
one.
more than one. I mean,
We've
we
got
put
two
multiple
right now.
examples.
You've got 3. Then there's
No,
the
you
reference
You just
to...
confused. Oh,
Then you
okay.
got Bella Organa saying the whole thing of like, I'll trust her with my life when he's referencing Leia, and then it shows Leia at the end of Rogue One, and then Leia's...
What about
Well, there's Mon Mothma reference.
yeah, the
in
di-
there.
I don't see that
Mon
connection,
Mothma.
Jake.
You know?
What?
When Bail Organa in Rogue One is saying, I trust her with my life when he's talking to, Redhead,
He trusts
I trust her with my life.
Leia with his life?
Yes.
Okay, what is that?
He was saying, I trust, he was referencing Leia. This is Rogue One.
In Rogue One, he's referring to when Leia took the Death Star plans,
Okay.
and Bail Organa's like, I trust her with my life, to like secure why Leia was taking the Death Star plans.
No, this is when they're on Yavin 4, and he's talking to the head fucking chick. I can't think of her name right now.
Mon Mothma?
Yeah, Mon Mothma, and he's saying, he's talking about the person who he's talking to, or something like that.
Bane?
Yes, Bane.
Okay.
Darth Bane, yes.
But no, the fact that it's a straightforward story proves that it's interconnected. Because episodes 4, 5, and 6 were created 10 years. Oh no, 20? 20 years?
77 to
Almost 20,
99,
yeah.
22
I'm tired of doing
years.
the dates for you, As.
I know,
You need
seriously.
to figure them out.
The prequels were made 20 years after the original trilogy.
Okay.
The fact that they all interconnect, the fact that it all flows as one story, doesn't say that they're interconnected to you.
No, I mean, like, what? They made the Harry Potter series, right? And now they're going back and they're making the Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them.
No.
And they interconnect,
Before
right?
you do that, explain why he's wrong.
That's why I'm explaining. Shut up,
No,
Dirk.
you're not. You're using Harry Potter. Use
As
Star
an
Wars.
example.
No, use Harry Potter.
Okay,
Explain.
in Star Wars, you have the original series.
Yeah, episodes 4, 5, and 6.
They go back and they make the prequels.
Yeah,
which
1, 2,
just
and 3.
flow into the rest of it.
Yeah.
But there's a 20-year gap, so it doesn't technically
There's-
flow right into it.
But they all flow. They all make sense.
So does...
Okay, so it's
Harry
a one coherent story.
Yes, it's only one story.
But Fantastic
Wait, no, okay, I think I understand what she's talking about.
She's saying interconnectivity.
She's saying
Is only one story?
No. She's saying interconnectivity is multiple stories within one story that are being interconnected within each other.
Correct.
Isn't that
So
what Star Wars is?
she's not understanding that there's the story involving Boba Fett getting interconnected and his whole
That's a
history.
good interconnection.
But then there's also the one involving Leia and
Let-
Alderaan. But then there's also the one involving like the Geonosians. There's the one involving.
Let confused boy speak.
Okay. There's anthology movies that are not technically part of the main fucking movies called Solo, a Star Wars story, and Rogue One, a Star Wars story. Therefore, those are technically interconnected stories that are part of the whole
They
cycle.
just flow into the story.
No,
It's
they
all
don't.
the story.
There's not that many main characters that are the same main characters
Okay.
as in the main
Now,
story.
Still
stop.
flows into
No.
the same
She
story.
just said it flows into the same story.
You can do the exact same
Then
thing
stop.
with Fantastic Beasts and Where to
Stop. It flows into the same story.
Find Them. Okay.
Therefore, since it flows into the same story, it's interconnected.
Yes.
Yes, but I'm talking about you've got the Harry Potter story, you've got the Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them story, which are completely separated.
Not really. They
Might
flow into
change.
each other.
They're separate
They're
stories.
separate.
Technically,
They
Grindelwald
flow
technically
into the
influences Voldemort, which goes into there. Therefore, it flows.
No.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
Okay, I see
The
what
same
Plus,
story.
plus Dumbledore's in there
Would
too.
you fucking
You
let
have
me
one
talk
character
Yes.
for
Well
3
done.
seconds? Sassy pants, calm
I'm
it.
just saying.
Listen,
Okay, you had your chance. You wanted 3 seconds. You got 3 seconds.
listen. What Faith is saying is that the prequels in Star Wars 1, 2, and 3,
Yeah.
that story continues in 4, 5, and 6.
No, it doesn't.
No, it doesn't.
Yes,
These-
it does.
No, it doesn't.
These characters and what they start
Ugh.
continue. Let me finish,
I'm
then
not
you can
even-
rebut me
Go ahead.
all you
Go
want.
ahead.
Okay, these stories that start here continue, and it's the same story all the way through. That's what Faith is saying. In Harry Potter,
Faith is wrong.
it's a difference because you have the story of the Peverells, which is not connected in any way to Harry Potter, but
Obviously, it
feeds into
is because it's in the story.
Yeah.
the story of the three brothers has nothing to do with Harry Potter
Himself.
himself. Not Harry Potter as a universe and as a story as a whole,
Okay.
but the story of these three brothers as
Doesn't
a story
directly
itself does
involve
not directly involve Harry Potter,
I got
but it's connected. Same thing with Fantastic Beasts. Everything that's happening at the beginning of this world that she's starting now, everything that's happening in Fantastic Beasts and all of these movies is not related to Harry Potter and his struggles.
It is.
It's
but it's not
related,
directly
but it's
connected.
not his story. I understand that you two have a thing that you're going to go on.
I'm trying to let
you know what? Go.
do
Fucking
his
go.
thing.
I'm done. I'm done. Nope, do
There
it.
are
Nope.
independent
Nope, I'm
stories
done.
that
Go.
have been
Have you ever heard of the
connected.
tragedy of Darth Plagueis the Wise?
No.
Have you?
Can you not tell me?
No, that's the tragedy of Darth Plagueis the Wise right
Okay.
there. It is.
The fact that you haven't heard it, that's the tragedy.
Okay.
Tragic.
Darth Plagueis the Wise was it's in Revenge of the Sith. That was Palpatine's master that learned how to control the midichlorians to create life.
I
Which
thought the
is,
midichlorians were debunked.
They're not. It's
Okay.
canon.
Yeah. Which then brought Palpatine told that to Anakin to take him to the dark side.
Which created the Deathly Hallows.
Same thing with the Deathly
How is
Hallows.
that kind of like that? No.
It's
That would be. That would
it's
be.
the same type of story
That would
as
be a connection.
It's
That
the
is what I was asking.
Okay.
you.
Well, what she was saying is the same type of thing. It's
Exactly.
a connection.
It's a connection. It's not all one story. It's a connection between
so
multiple
what
stories.
is your bitch?
yeah, I don't.
That there aren't any in Star Wars.
But there are.
I was
So
asking.
the
She's
whole
asking you
Darth
to give her
Plagueis
some
Yeah, I'm saying
examples.
I have
You
all
have
of
now
these-
done that.
All of these connections in Harry Potter from multiple different stories, from multiple different references from history that all connect into the Harry Potter stories.
So you have perfectly debunked her.
Well, there's also the
Bitch.
part where
I'm saying I
even
can't see
in-
any in Star Wars.
even
You've
in-
given me.
You've given her the answer that she was
yeah,
looking for. You're
You've
giving
given
There
her
are
Boba
indeed.
Fett.
examples
You've
that
given
show
Darth
that
Plagueis.
this exists in the Star Wars world as well as in Harry Potter's world.
Well, there's even the reference in the Phantom Menace where I think it's forehead dude.
You can't think it has to
I don't
be.
know the name of the guy. Kyamundi or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, he says the Republic hasn't been on a full-on war for 1,000 years or something like that. Or was that I'm thinking different
That's
white
from
guy?
Clone Wars.
No, that's from
Attack of the Clones.
no, that's from Phantom Menace, but it's Padme's one of Padme's representatives from Naboo. They're saying you must contact me. That guy, I don't know.
Oh, yeah, that
That
guy.
guy.
I know who you're talking
Yeah,
Tall head dude.
about. No. He looks like
Not
a
big
tall
forehead
head,
dude with a beard,
Forehead dude.
but not Kyamundi.
They'll be
Anyway.
You can't describe
There
the
are-
story in any way.
Yeah, I know.
No, I just described the story. I just couldn't think of the guy's character.
That's fair, because I've done the same thing, alright?
The point that's been made is that there are indeed plenty of other connections from other, like, outside stories that, because that's what
Doesn't
you're going
have
for.
to
You
do
want-
with the Skywalker line.
See,
Right.
connectivity is what we were thinking. Connectivity was that they all connect into each other. That there is connectivity because they all flow into each other and actually make a coherent story.
Yeah, it's just one story.
What Faith was trying to get at, which you have now provided, was that there are these side stories that are not part of the main thing, and those are all interconnected within it. You've now given her the examples of how that happens in Star Wars.
The prime example that they don't give, I mean, is that there's a cadre of books that have been written by other writers
I was trying to
that-
stay away from that
that-
because we could have done it.
Right.
that do indeed talk about a lot of other stories involving characters that are indeed brought into the main story. So
There's
I mean,
also the entire
there's
Clone
that.
Wars series.
Okay, next one.
Yeah.
I love both series, and obviously I had Harry Potter first, so I love Harry Potter more.
Both which series?
But
Star Wars and Harry Potter.
Oh, okay.
Um,
I thought she was talking
I-
Twilight and
yes.
Cinderella or something.
I personally find
People
the
don't
Harry
like
Potter
Twilight.
series more relatable.
Anyway,
So when I was watching
Yes.
Star Wars, I couldn't ever envision myself in Star Wars doing what they're doing.
okay,
Why not?
okay.
Why not?
Nothing is comparable. Like,
I get what you're saying. It's because it really is a very fantastical
Fantastical.
story.
yeah.
Okay.
It takes place on another planet in another universe. It even starts off with the galaxy far, far away, long, long time ago, kind of thing. Yeah.
Tatooine, also known as California.
Yeah, the Mojave Desert. Anyway, but the whole point of reading these stories, both Harry Potter and Star Wars, is the escapism. The escapism mentality.
I can't escape into Star Wars the same way I do in Harry Potter.
Why? What stops you? No, I want to hear this. What stops you?
I think that the world of Star Wars is too eccentric to be able to put myself into.
It's too far, too
How?
far flung, too far.
How so?
Star Wars? Yeah.
I think that really goes to the individual person, though. I think that's probably partially because you were introduced to Harry Potter first.
Yeah.
Harry Potter is a deep connection for you. You started that as a child. When did you first read Star Wars or get introduced to Star Wars?
2 years ago.
Okay, so you were an adult by that point with a different perspective. As a kid, when did you start reading Harry Potter?
When I was 11.
Okay, you were...
Yeah.
She's now
going
12.
into Hogwarts.
She's 13. Sorry, she said 2 years ago, so 13.
So I think that's a big piece, though, of why, and it would be different for each person, as to why that story provides you more escapism. You like it because it's so relatable to your life. You can picture yourself getting into that position.
Can you guys picture yourself
Yes.
in Star Wars? Like,
Absolutely.
as Luke?
Yes.
Not Luke. I'm way cooler
my
than
life
Luke.
here.
As Luke,
But I think that's the thing, though, is like this world of Star Wars is so far removed that for the three of you, this is a wonderful way to get out of your own life.
My shitty life, yes.
Yes, exactly. For your shithole of a life that you live, Star Wars is the way to go.
you know
For
what?
me
I
and
will give
Faith.
him that. He
I wouldn't
does
say
come
his life's
over
as
here.
He's just
Not that shitty over
thinking.
For
here.
Faith and I, it's a different kind of escape. We're still in...
You still want
If you
some
want
kind
to
of
call it the
grounding.
real world,
You still want some
you're
grounding.
grounded a little bit, but you're still... I think it's just a difference in how people relate to the
brought up
story.
a very valid question. What makes us relate to Star Wars?
Yeah.
Go for it.
Oh god, no, BJ, you go first.
No, Dick.
I feel like this is a
Don't
rough
be
one
Dick.
for Jake.
This is way too much for me.
No, it's not.
Yeah.
It's getting
This
too
is-
into his head.
Well, no, this is probably a bad time to do this.
This is good. What makes you relate to Star Wars? What makes you relate to Star Wars more than you relate to Harry Potter? Because you do relate to Harry Potter.
Yeah, I'm a
Deny
straight
it,
up
bitch.
Hufflepuff.
Puff.
Puff for life.
I don't believe any
Before
house.
we get
I'm
into
not-
that,
Yes.
I would?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I
before
can
we get into that, since we
Ravenclaw.
have the Harry Potter people here,
You already got it.
what houses?
Which she already said.
DIRK, he would be...
Slytherin.
He'd be a Slytherin.
I'm already-
Jacob's a Hufflepuff.
Okay.
You'd be a Ravenclaw.
Yeah, for sure. Okay,
You two
I'm a
bitches.
Hufflepuff.
Okay.
I'm a Gryffindor.
How do you know?
Because I was sorted into Gryffindor.
Yeah, there's a sorting thing on Pottermore.
There's literally a sorting thing.
Oh, we'll have to try that. We'll put a link up.
Yeah.
I was sorted
I haven't
into
done it.
Gryffindor. That's how I know that I'm in Gryffindor. I
would have said I was
Because
Slytherin.
I also see.
assholes though?
Not necessarily.
So, Faith,
Snape.
do you agree with me that he's?
Snape is an asshole.
Listen.
Sorry.
I don't know how you would say that. Ravenin.
I would have
A Revenite.
I would have. I would have. I would have said I would be in Slytherin.
No.
Although I
You're-
disagree with Slytherin.
Yeah, you're a Ravenclaw with Slytherin tendencies. I'm a Gryffindor with Ravenclaw tendencies. Faith is a Hufflepuff with Ravenclaw tendencies.
Am I
So,
just a straight
wait.
Slytherin?
Yeah.
I'm trying to understand this.
You're straight off.
Yeah, that makes sense to you.
I'm a Hufflepuff.
So,
with
Jacob's
Hufflepuff.
Jacob's a
I'm
Hufflepuff
Hufflepuff.
with Hufflepuff tendencies.
I'm a puff.
In Hogwarts, you are not sorted into your house because of the way you are. It's not based on your personality. It's based on what you value. So, like, I'm very book smart. I love reading. I love learning things. Like, when I find a topic that I like, I just fucking dive into it. But
That's a Hufflepuff thing?
No, that's a Ravenclaw.
that's a
thing.
Ravenclaw.
Oh, okay.
So I have a Ravenclaw personality, but that's not what I value. So that's why I'm sorted into Hufflepuff, because I want to be loyal, I want to be truthful, and I want everybody around me to be the same way.
Okay.
So, Jacob is
Wait,
a
Hufflepuff's loyalty?
loyalty.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, loyalty
What's
and
and
trust.
Ravenclaw is
Intelligence,
Intelligence,
Slytherin
knowledge.
is
cunning, ambition,
Yes.
drive.
and
Gryffindor is
Gryffindor.
daring and chivalry.
daring and
They're like the
chivalry.
protectors.
Oh, okay.
And that, I think, is... See,
Apparently,
I
I'm
have
an
this
asshole.
debate with Steve.
You
Steve
are.
doesn't think
You are
that
very
I'm
much
a
an
Gryffindor.
asshole.
No.
He doesn't
We're
think
all
that
a group of
I
assholes.
match Gryffindor's personality and values. The piece is that I am a mother. Like, I have such strong motherly instincts that it comes across as being chivalrous and being daring when I don't mean to be chivalrous or daring. I'm just trying to keep you from fucking running out in the road in front of a car. Like,
What was
That's-
Mama Weasley? house?
she's a Gryffindor. The entire
All of the
Weasleys
Weasleys.
are, yeah, the whole house is
Oh,
Gryffindor.
really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why?
I think it mentions that
It
somewhere.
does.
It does. Why?
They all value being brave and chivalrous and protecting other people.
Huh.
Now, the only one who's borderline is probably Percy.
They don't seem
Now-
to have a choice. That's just the way they are.
Yeah. Yeah, they're raised that way. So it kind of forces them to
But-
be that way.
Go ahead.
Oh, no, I'm just stretching. I'm sorry.
Stop it. You're interrupting my...
Continue.
So what's your argument to that?
What was the...
Can we talk about how
We were still waiting to hear on why you guys think that Star Wars is relatable.
The whole point of
Nobody
this
fucking
conversation
Everything
was
was fucking derailed at that point, so...
Yeah.
No
this
idea.
really. Jake got us off
I
topic real
thought
quick
we
there.
were
So
talking about houses.
How I don't even know
So-
how to cut you guys off topic. Did I even say anything?
I think I would
I think you
probably
gave us a look.
Am I
honestly-
my best power?
I would probably
To be
go with a lot of us are in the same boat as Faith, whereas like Faith was introduced to Harry Potter at a young age, at a relatable age. We all were introduced to Star Wars at a younger
I
age.
have a very different take on it. It doesn't matter how old somebody is or when they're introduced to somebody.
why are you so different in your relation to Star Wars to everyone else?
Oh, the age thing.
The age thing, yeah.
Age means absolutely nothing. It's the person themselves that it's how they absorb what they grow up with. Because for me, Star Wars and Harry Potter might as well be equal. I have no issue with either one. I don't side with one over the other because I can identify with both. And
I don't know.
I still see myself as more of a Slytherin. I tend to have more dark
You are dark and
tendencies
twisty.
than-
There's Dark
But
Hufflepuffs.
Ravenclaw, I don't see it.
Ravenclaws who have a dark side use their intelligence against everybody else. And you do
I
that.
don't use my intelligence.
That's a fucking lie.
I do
That is
not.
so bold. Look at you can't even say it with a straight face. And I think that the age thing wasn't really what I was trying to get with when I was asking you about when you were exposed to them. I think that Harry Potter was more relatable because when you started reading it, you easily could envision yourself doing. You were the same age. It was, they're similar human kids who are raised in kind of shitty
Okay.
circumstances that kind of move on. And I think that Star Wars doesn't have the same hold for you.
Yeah.
There's not
Okay.
quite as much
Also,
overlap with your own personal life.
Using that line of thought, I could just as easily see myself using a lightsaber as I could using a wand.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I think that it's
It
individualized to
doesn't
the person. For Faith, that was a point in her life where she, she's reading this, she feels that she could see herself in the story, so she can.
But that's what
Star
I'm saying.
Wars is a whole lot harder for her to do that. I think that it's individualized, though. You guys can
That's-
see yourselves
that's what
easier
I'm-
in the Star Wars world.
No, that's what I'm saying. Age doesn't matter. When you're exposed to this,
Right.
Actually,
doesn't matter.
I'm gonna debunk
She's not referring to the age,
Please,
she's referring to the
please.
situation.
I'm
Please.
afraid, yeah,
I
to this
was-
situation, not to her age specifically. I'm not saying that it's because she's young that she...
You did say when you were exposed to it.
Right, but I'm not saying that it's her age that determined her reaction. I'm saying that her age helped her be able to place herself in that story because she was the same age as the characters in the story at the time.
Okay.
When she started reading Sorcerer's Stone, she's the same age.
So I didn't start reading Harry Potter until I was 11, which would have been in 2006.
Okay, I didn't read it until I was in my 30s.
I
Fuck
actually
you.
played a Star Wars video game in 2005.
Battlefront 2.
So
Technically,
technically,
then you were.
I was introduced to Star Wars before I was introduced to Harry Potter.
Yeah, but you didn't have me.
Okay.
I think what they're referring to is the time period in their life when they were exposed to this particular fandom. It resonated more with them than the other one.
Time period. What do you mean?
The circumstances
Time period in their life.
of their life
Not
at that
necessarily time
moment
period
in
in
time.
history.
There are time periods in everybody's life. Are you referring to a specific, like, adolescence?
No, we're just saying that.
What?
We're just saying that at the point that we were when we were first exposed to these stories, one resonated more than the other. Not to say that as we get older, the other might resonate more because we're going through different things or different things are happening. We're experiencing different things, growing and learning and changing, all of that. I'm saying that when the story comes into your life in these circumstances make it more relatable to you. You know, Faith reading Sorcerer's Stone now doesn't... I mean, I don't want to speak for you, but, you know, she's not seeing herself necessarily as an 11-year-old going off to school.
I see myself as a fucking stone.
She's now an adult woman who's a fucking badass, who's rereading this information. You know,
you're definitely seeing her differently than I do.
Well,
You don't know what I do in my off time?
Yeah. But
You're not my supervisor.
Are you a superhero?
You're not my
Are you?
supervisor.
No, she's a bounty hunter.
I actually do have
Are
some
you
interesting
kick-ass?
tendencies.
She's a bounty hunter. Nope, I'm dead.
You're a lying sack of shit. You're dying on your
Well, we were
word.
actually discussing that
I don't
she would be a
think any of
Mandalorian because she has.
I
I
would
believe
not
that.
be a Mandalorian.
Well, no,
No,
she
no,
said
no.
Yu Sung Vong.
I will be a Yu Sung Vong.
She said Yu Sung Vong.
No, you would be a fucking bounty hunter. There is no doubt in my mind whatsoever. You would definitely be a bounty hunter.
I'd be a Yu Sung Vong.
I guess this can exist.
Yeah?
I don't think I'd be a Mandalorian.
Why
I
not?
would be a shitty Mandalorian. I would be a Mandalorian. I would just be shitty.
You'd be a Gungan.
You just want to...
You! Fucking asshole!
I don't know what that
I don't
means.
swim that good!
You're
Really fat one
really
that goes.
I don't swim that good.
You
That
can
well?
discharge him.
And thank you, everybody, for joining us this week. You've got everything you need to know. Thanks to Real Film Nerds and the Mile High Show for supporting us and maybe watching us. I don't know. Hashtag thumbs down. Hashtag limp for Kennedy for as long as that bitch is with us. And, of course...
No, wait. Hashtag Harry Palpatine.
That's just stupid.
Oh.
Come to the dark side.